Okay, the wind is blowing and I just found a little bit of a secluded spot here, so hopefully you can hear me okay. The sun's setting just over here, and it is my last little bit of daylight here, the day after the triathlon, and wanted to just make a short video because I made a promise before this all started, or during this whole thing, and I wanted to complete that promise. And that promise was that I would make a video explaining why running was the new mustard. So here's the thing. There was a lot of facets to this whole triathlete experience for me. Part of it was definitely the cause and the opportunity to raise money for blood cancer and to do it in memory of my father, and to put myself through an experience that would test my body, and at times where I would want to quit and I would be in pain and I would experience just a sliver, like the tiniest of slivers of what someone who's battling cancer can often go through, and having to persevere regardless of the circumstances. That was part of it. Part of it was a goal to do a triathlon, which I always wanted to do. Part of it was the fact that I was about to turn 40 and my father turned 50 and passed away of cancer, and felt like his body let him down, and I wanted to honor my body as I turned 40 and get it into shape, and really respect the fact that I'm blessed to have my health and to take care of it. Another part of it was a test. Maybe a study, and the study had one guinea pig, and that guinea pig was me. And it was based on this idea that we can be whoever we want, that our identity is not based necessarily on what we do and what we accomplish, but what if we could just decide we had a new identity, and then based on that new identity, then we could accomplish and have capabilities. There's a theory that says that, if you want to change your capabilities, you got to change your behaviors. If you want to change your identity, you got to change your capabilities. And I thought, well, what if I just changed my identity? What would happen if you woke up one morning and just suddenly said, you know what, I'm this, with no evidence whatsoever that you were that, with nothing to back it up at all, but you just decided this is who I am. And then you went out and you created the evidence. That was what I wanted to practice. And when I thought about that concept, the first thing that came to my mind was mustard. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what? But here's the deal, my whole entire life, I hated mustard. It was my identity. I didn't like mustard. I loved ketchup. I loved hamburgers. I hated mustard. If something had mustard on it, I wouldn't eat it. If you put mustard on something, I wouldn't eat it. You got to remake it. That was who I am. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't that I chose to hate mustard. I hated mustard. That's what I felt like. It was my identity. And then one day, out of the blue, it wasn't. I kind of remember what happened. I think I had something... No, you know what? I don't remember what happened. I really don't. And I couldn't even tell you when it happened. It was within the last 5 years, probably the last 3. But all of a sudden, I must have eaten something with mustard on and I liked it, and like that, it changed. Like that. I went from, let's just call it 37 years, 36, 37 years, where my identity was I didn't like mustard, and all of a sudden the next day, I'm putting ketchup and mustard on my hamburgers. I'm putting ketchup and mustard on my hot dogs. I'm putting mustard on whatever. And there literally was no, it was a quantum leap, right? By definition, to go from one place to another without traveling the distance in between. I went from hating mustard to liking mustard, like that, and my identity changed. And it was no big deal. And all of a sudden, what I was so sure was part of my identity, I was so sure it was who I was, it wasn't. So I'm a cyclist. I'm a cyclist who hates running, and a cyclist who hates swimming. I love being in the water, but I don't swim. So what if I could just change that like that? So that's what I was playing with, hence running is the new mustard. So I decided what I needed to do is I need to take on the identity of a runner. I needed to take on the identity of a triathlete. And so that's what I did. I mean, I started talking to people who were runners and triathletes and swimmers, and I talked to them about how they felt and why they liked doing it, and I started pulling out words as I did this, keywords that I could grab, that I could stick into my identity. And before I'd even jumped in the pool, before I'd even gone for my first training run, I was working on my identity. And what I knew was true, what I knew I could do, is that I could, just like I went from I don't like mustard to I like mustard, I could go from I'm not a runner and I'm not a swimmer to I'm a runner and I'm a swimmer. I was gonna have to learn to swim, right? I was going to have to take some lessons and get some coaching and build up the cardio and create the capability. But what if I could just decide right then and there that my identity was that I was a swimmer and I was a runner? And even if it didn't happen overnight, what if in a span of 2, 3, 4 months, something that I absolutely was not could become something that I absolutely was? Pretty simple concept, right? But I just wanted to play with it. You know, if I could spend 36 years telling everyone that absolutely positively I hated mustard, and all of a sudden the next day someone walks up to me and I'm like, what are you talking about? I love mustard. Then why couldn't someone walk up to me the next day and I could be, well, what are you talking about? I love to run. I love swimming. I'm a triathlete. I love it. Why couldn't that happen? No, I'm not going to go so far to tell you that I love running, okay? But here's the deal. Yesterday I did an Olympic distance triathlon, 1.5 kilometer swim, and I loved it. I loved it. The swim was awesome. I did a 40 kilometer cycle, which is my sport. It was great. And then I ran, and it was hot, and it was hard, but I did it. And am I going to tell you I enjoyed it? No. Will I tell you that in that 6.2 mile run that I was saying to myself, I'm a runner? Yeah. I wasn't grinding through that run thinking, you know what? I'm a biker who's grinding through a run. You know? I'm a soccer player who's grinding through a run. I was a runner who was having a tough run. And so I stand before you now, and I'm a runner, and I'm a swimmer, and I'm a cyclist, and I am a triathlete. I'm a lava man, actually. And it's the first of many. I'll do another one this year. And so running's the new mustard. Just as before, I absolutely hated mustard, and then all of a sudden I didn't. And my identity changed. I will no longer say that anything I believe is true about myself is stagnant, that it can change at any time. And so just like running is a new mustard, Brett Guide is a runner. So I thank all you guys out there for your support, whatever it looked like, in all its forms. This has been an incredible experience, and I've shared it with you because you're my community, and it matters to me. I've shared it with you to enroll your support in all its forms, because I needed it, and I wouldn't have done it without it. And I shared it with you because maybe it'll inspire someone out there to do something they haven't done before. Maybe it'll inspire you to ask yourself, what's your mustard? You know, what's that thing that you've been telling yourself forever is not you don't like, that you could change overnight? So for me, running was the new mustard. What's the new mustard for you? Make it an amazing day.